Hello, my name is Jack Shurgi.
And I'm Luke Shurgi, and welcome to Rock Harbor Service.
I hope you guys are having a good time with the quarantine, because we are. We got a dog named Chewy, and he really likes to eat sand at the beach.
That reminds me of a student who ate sand at the beach.
What's the name?
Hudson Dexter.
Well, that's weird. It's not like he's a dog. Well, anyway, we're on to Carbo Kooks.
What's up, students?
Hello, hello.
We are here driving through Rancho Santa Margarita, and I'm here with my wife,
Michaela, as most of you would know.
She's also a leader in our ministry as well. She leads our 7th grade girls
I do.
in the middle school ministry.
I've heard I'm the best leader, but that's just rumor.
Who you heard that from?
You?
Yeah, I'm a little biased. So we're heading to RSM Lake. This shade is out of control. We're going to the RSM Lake. Just going to jog, but we also realized by the lake one of her students lives nearby.
Yeah.
Emily Johnson. So we're going to a Starbucks to bring her a drink. There's a new drive-through Starbucks in RSM.
Brand spanking new. Haven't been here. We will give you a full review on what it's like.
Like, how many weeks have been open?
I think a week and a half.
I want this Starbucks. How can I get coffee today?
I went too far there. Hey, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. How long has this store been open?
It's going to be open until 9.
No, sorry. How long have you been open since the grand opening? Grand
Oh,
opening.
a month. Like,
A month?
July
You're
29th, I
wrong.
believe
It's been
is when we
4
open.
weeks. Okay, cool. Thank you. We just
Cool.
had a bet. Okay, we're gonna do frappuccino.
Do strawberry.
We're gonna. They do strawberry.
I don't know.
Can we do a frappuccino? Ice
Yeah, of course.
Ice frappuccino grande. That's medium. All right, we're driving through the drive-thru right now.
That was a big decision.
For real.
I don't even know if Emily likes caramel.
Here's the even bigger decision, Michaela. What are the odds that you say "I love you" when we're driving away?
Oh no.
Come on.
1 in 5.
Wow, that's bold.
I
You're-
never do this, you guys, just for you.
1 in 5. I'm a getter. You ready? 1, 2, 3,
2.
4.
Yes.
Shoot.
Here we go.
That would have been so good.
You guys, Jono just messed up the Starbucks order. How do you even do that? Have we not been to Starbucks before? He thought he ordered a grande, but he actually ordered a venti.
Didn't you guys hear me? I said grande.
Well, he didn't hear you. Brennan didn't hear. A venti caramel frappuccino before dinner.
Yeah, I don't know how her
Emily's
parents are
hitting
gonna
the
feel.
jackpot. Yeah, her parents aren't gonna be stoked about
She
that.
won't be. She won't be upset. I mean, I'm giving her a larger drink.
Yeah, she won't be, but
Yeah.
Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, I don't know how stoked they're gonna be about
They
that.
might be a little upset that I'm gonna steal some.
Can you even save part of it
I've-
for later?
I don't know about that. I was thinking about taking
Ugh.
some of this whipped cream, but I don't know how
No,
to take
COVID,
some. Yeah,
COVID.
totally.
Get your hands off that thing.
Yeah, it's difficult. You know, it's hard to mess with students these days.
You guys, this heat wave is real.
90 degrees in our car right now.
It's pretty warm.
It's a scorcher.
It is a scorcher, and the sun is just you
What do you
guys
think
can see
people
it's just
mean when they
beating on
say
me.
scorcher?
It's hot, scorching.
But when else do we use the word scorch in life? It's a.
I don't know. I teach 2nd grade. I don't know the.
Today was your first day.
I don't know the origin of
How
words.
was your first day, 2nd graders?
Well, I didn't have 2nd graders.
Oh, orientation.
Orientation.
Did you have to wear this?
Oh, guys, this is our new reality. Let me just show you.
Please show us,
Can you
Mrs.
even
Mullins. Mrs. Mullins.
Hear me right now.
I can hear you, Mrs. Mullins.
Okay.
What
I'm not gonna wear
Mike-
this the whole time, but if you didn't know, it's a face shield. Just
I
wanted you to
appreciate
know.
that because I see your face as you're teaching. But what happens when you sneeze? Do you have like wipers?
I don't know. I've never thought about that.
So there's my Prius. No cars in the driveway.
Let's see.
I think we're gonna drop this off for the door and it's gonna melt.
All right, follow me.
It's gonna be frappuccino soup.
Okay, she's home. Such a nice door. Oh,
You see her?
I think someone's here. Let's see.
Dang it, I don't get it.
Hi! We wanted to surprise you with a frappuccino.
Thank you.
Because we just love you. You're on film. Say hi to you, service.
Hi.
She's in her 2nd week of distance learning, you guys. So she just needed some encouragement, as I'm sure all of you do. This is for you, my dear.
Thank
a
you
caramel
so much.
frappuccino before dinner.
Yes.
Venti because Jono messed up the order, but you can thank him for that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Bye, friends.
Bye. Well, that was fun. I hope they have air conditioning in the car.
Now we're going to move to sermon with Jono and Brizelle.
Hey students, today I get to be joined by a friend. It's a high honor of mine to be with my good friend, Brizelle Hilton.
Yes, thank you, Jono. It is Brizelle. Brizelle, like a mix of Brazil and gazelle, but morphed into one name. So
Okay,
just had to
they got it. Brizelle is a middle school leader. She's been serving with us for over a year now, and you also grew up in the ministry. How long have you been
I did.
part of our...
4 years since I was a freshman in high school.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Brizelle, just so proud of her and her leadership in our ministry, in our church. She brings the fun. At summer camp, she always brings the rec gear, and today you are bringing the word. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so students, we've been prepping a lot, praying for you guys, and I just felt like, one thing we want to start with that's most important is we just want you guys to know that you're loved. Costa Mesa students, Mission Viejo students, Brizelle and I, on behalf of Heather and Steve as well, we love you guys. God loves you, God sees you, and we're so excited to speak to you guys today. So by the time you're watching this, we recognize that all, if not all, majority of you are back in school by now. And we recognize that our entire world, ourselves included, we thought when the school year ended last June, that marked the end of social distancing. Yet here we are. We're right back into it, going on school virtually and social distancing. And I know a lot of you guys are devastated. A lot of you guys have a mix of emotions. Some are disappointed, some are angry, some are frustrated. And we just want you guys to hear us, as some of your leaders, that that's totally normal. The situation you're in, if so many things be taken away from you, when you have anger, those match. That's okay. If you're angry, be angry. But as one of your pastors, I want to encourage you guys to not live there.
Yeah.
I had a friend once explain to me this analogy of how anger works in our life. And it's a story of years and years and years ago in Africa, there was a group of people who would kidnap and steal and take lemurs. And it was actually ring-tailed lemurs. I have a picture for you guys if you want to check this out. It's super cute.
Oh my gosh,
those
precious.
eyes are intense.
Yes.
And
Absolutely
I know
precious.
this is terrible, but they would take these animals and put them in zoos in America. And there's this people group in the continent of Africa called the Zulus. And even though these lemurs were agile and quick, they had the technique down because they knew what the lemur was like. They knew the knowledge of the lemur. So this is how they would trap them. Their trap, all it was they would take a lemon, a melon, not a lemon. Did I say lemon?
You said lemon.
That's
okay.
a mistake.
Okay.
It's a mistake. They would take a melon that was connected to a vine that rooted, so it was in place. And they would cut a small hole in the melon, just big enough for the monkey's hand to go inside of it. Because the seeds in the melon were their favorite. The monkeys were obsessed. So what would happen is the monkeys would come in, put their hand in the melon, because it was just big enough for the hole was just big enough to put their hand in. They'd grab as many seeds as they could, and then they'd try to let go. And they would try to pull it out. But now because their fist is full, they couldn't.
Dang.
And these monkeys would scream, they would screech, they would pull, and they would tug, but they couldn't get it out unless they released the seeds, which they wouldn't. And they'd stay there for hours, and eventually this people group called the Zulus would come from behind them, snatch them up, and take them. In anger,
Because they couldn't let go.
because they couldn't let go. In anger in our life, students, it's normal to grab anger, to hold on to that in times, to hold on to your emotions, but we have to let go. We have to. We can't live there because it just destroys us and kills us inside. If we continue to hold on to our anger, one day we're going to wake up and go, how did I get here? How did I end up becoming a bitter person, angry person my whole life? So please hear us. We're not just saying, put a smile on and knock it off. It's real, but we can't live there and hold on to the anger. In James chapter 5, that's what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
And he does a really good job of talking about suffering and the emotions we have and how patience is needed in that. And then he gets really practical and talks about instead of worrying, we need to worship through prayer. So that's where we're going to be at. So Brizelle, why don't you start us
Yes.
off with patience and suffering, please?
Awesome. So, as we've seen, James has asked us to have joy in suffering, and now he's also asking us to have patience in suffering. I mean, wow, James, really piling a lot on us.
Yep.
Just kidding. All important stuff, though, so we appreciate it. So, I'm going to start off in James chapter 5, and we're going to start on verse 7. Be patient, therefore, brothers, until the coming of the Lord. See how the farmer waits for the precious fruit of the earth, being patient about it until it receives the early and the late rains. You also be patient, establish your hearts, for the coming of the Lord is at hand. Now, one way we can tell that the Bible and God and the author who's writing the book wants to highlight something to us and wants us to really reflect on something is if they repeat it. And we only read through James 7 through 8, and already he has said the coming of the Lord twice.
Yeah.
And he has said that we need to be patient for the coming of the Lord. That's literally the very first thing he said in verse 7. Be patient, therefore, brothers, until the coming of the Lord. And he repeats it again in verse 8. You also be patient, establish your hearts, for the coming of the Lord is at hand. So that's already one reason why we need to be patient during suffering.
Yeah.
And it's already been repeated, so it's obviously important. And that's what we'll be focusing on as we dig into James 5, not just the what, and the what being be patient in suffering, but also the why.
Yeah.
So I'm going to continue on to verse 9. Do not grumble against one another, brothers, so that you may not be judged. Behold, the judge is standing at the door. As an example of suffering and patience, brothers, take the prophets who spoke in the name of the Lord. Behold, we consider those blessed who remain steadfast. You have heard the steadfastness of Job, and you have seen the purpose of the Lord, how the Lord is compassionate and merciful.
So good. So much.
So good.
So
Yes,
much there.
seriously,
Yeah.
so much meat and so many things to unpack.
Yeah.
So I have always loved the book of James. I respect and appreciate how blunt he is. He does not sugarcoat it. He just gives it to you straight and definitely does not hold back. Even if we look in James 3:6, throwback, rewind. He says, and the tongue is a fire, a world of unrighteousness. The tongue is set among our members, staining the whole body, set on the fire of the entire course of life, and set on the fire by hell. I mean, oh dang, James.
I hope when James was writing this, he had it with that tone and that attitude.
I hope so too. One could only dream. But I mean, dang, James, like that is heavy, but it catches your attention so much. It's like, okay, I hear you.
Yep.
I hear you. I get it. Okay. So he gets straight to the point and makes what we're supposed to do very clear. And Jono and I were actually talking the other day, and he ended up asking me if I would be friends with James.
Yeah.
And I, as much as I respect and appreciate him, I literally had to pause.
You
I was like, yeah.
thought about it. You were like,
I was like, I mean, it sounds great. When I think about it, I feel like James would be the kind of guy where it's like, James, how do I look in this outfit? I don't know. And then he'd go, you look terrible.
Just straight to the point.
Just straight to the point.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I appreciate your honesty, but maybe a little sugarcoating
maybe
would be
a little
helpful.
fluff, just
exactly.
just
to help it out. So he'd be brutally honest. And honestly, we do need those people in our lives. So I respect that. So James, when he was writing James, he wrote it as a letter to local churches. So that's like James, he was not only writing a letter to Rock Harbor Mission Viejo, he was writing to all the local churches in Orange County. And one of the members of that church was named Stephen. And he actually had just been murdered for being a Christian.
Yeah.
And not only that, his friends actually had to watch him die and be killed. If anyone knew what suffering was, it was these guys right here. I mean, they have every right to be cut a little slack. But James is still telling them, I know what you're going through, but be patient and don't grumble about it. And I mean, imagine if you had just seen one of your friends die, and then you get a letter.
That's the audience he's talking to.
Exactly. And then you get a letter from your buddy James, and he's like, be patient, don't grumble, like start a little life, no big deal.
Yeah.
And I'm sure James wasn't that flippant and insensitive about it, but also to some extent, some people could have read it that way.
Yeah.
And it may be a frustrating thing to read, like, how am I supposed to be patient in a situation that causes me deep pain? But he knows it's what we need to hear and do, and honestly, he's being bold enough to say it. And I want you to notice that he does not say to not feel sad or do not experience emotions. He's just saying to be patient when those things happen. Even while you're being patient, you still could be sad and frustrated.
Right.
He's not saying to just cut those emotions off right away. Something I also appreciate about James is multiple times he uses other people from the Bible as an example.
Yeah.
And just to let us know, like, what he's saying is legit. He's letting us know, hey, patience and suffering is a tried and true thing, and it actually works. And what's also awesome about it is it also legitimizes the Bible even more. Like, James isn't writing about his buddy Job and what he did to him,
And
what happened to him a few years ago.
Job, not Job.
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 There you go.
Kind of like Brizelle. It's kind of hard to...
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's a hard name.
Yep.
Like, I get it, Job.
Totally.
I'm right there with you.
You can relate.
I can totally relate.
course.
Hashtag relatable. Oh, gosh.
I can't with you.
Cut. Okay.
Cut that out.
So James is not talking about his buddy Job and something that happened to him like a couple years ago. No, he's talking about something that happened hundreds of years ago. And it also legitimizes the Bible. Like, it just lets us know, okay, this is legit. Like, he's quoting the history of the Bible and what happened. Anyway, so for those of you who don't know Job, real quick snippet, he was a guy who loved and worshiped God very much, and he was very blessed. He had family, he had friends, he had children, he had land, he had livestock and crops. And one day Satan went to God and was like, hey, I bet your buddy Job isn't that loyal to you. And God said, okay, bet. Like, my buddy Job is rock solid. I guarantee it. Satan said, okay, let's put him to the test. So he said, I'm gonna take away his family, his wife, his kids. I'm gonna take away his crops, his livestock, his land. He took away everything. Even then, Job was still worshiping God and had faith in him and trusted him. Yeah. And it just really proves that Job was patient and he was steadfast. And even sometimes Job's friends questioned him and was like, dude, why are you still worshiping God? Like, look at what is happening. But he still stayed faithful.
Yeah. And I love one of the things you said earlier. You said, faithfulness is what is tried and true. What was that? Is that you said it?
Yeah,
like,
patience and suffering. It's a tried and true thing.
It's true. It's been tested. And he is saying, I'm not just saying lip service, I'm backing up with Job's life. Because Job also had moments of grumbling and had moments of being real with his pain. But at the end of the day, he still decided to worship and chose to worship God.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
Yeah.
And even for me in this season, I mean, all of us has things we're going through, but for me, things are happening, and I do not want to be patient at all. My mom got cancer. I was planning on going on a 5-month hike, the Pacific Crest Trail. That got canceled.
So you're not supposed to be here right now.
I'm literally not supposed to be here right now. I'm supposed to be hiking to the Canadian border, actually, right now. My grandma is also currently in emergency, and we just had to put our family dog down. And now I'm being told that I'm supposed to sit in my room and like twiddle my fingers, maybe make another loaf of bread and be patient. Like, are you kidding me? That just does not seem right. And even for the majority of you, like, you're not able to go back to school, and maybe you're losing your senior, junior, sophomore, freshman year, and you feel like you're losing these memories that you could have had. And you may be feeling frustrated, sad, and angry. And just like Jono's example of the lemur who wanted those seeds so desperately that he was just not willing to let go. And it's his decision to let go. Yeah. And it's also our decision to let go. It's my decision to let go, and it's your decision to let go.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, when are you going to let go?
And I'd like to actually pause there and do an exercise. Something we talked about, we want to do exercise with you guys, with you students right now. It's a 2-part question, but we're going to ask you guys right now, not afterwards in your Zoom party or in your life group or anything like that. Right now, we want you to think about, what are you having a hard time being patient about? And what are you waiting on that you're frustrated about? Because right here, it's really clear, like you said twice, James said, we need to wait on the coming of the Lord.
Yeah.
But sometimes our priorities are out of whack and we're not waiting on the Lord. So I'd love for you guys, don't pause, but use the chat feature right now. We're going to take 30 seconds, maybe a minute. And why don't you type in and push enter to some things that you're having a hard time with patience and some things that you are currently waiting for. And we're going to do the same. So let's give about 30 seconds and then starting now. Okay, you guys can keep typing, enter those, but let's just share ours real fast. What are a couple things you wrote?
One of the things that I wrote down that I need to be patient with in the suffering is the number on the scale. Through my whole life, I've struggled through insecurities and body image and learning to love who I am right now and not where I am.
Yeah. I wrote my knee. I had injured my knee almost a year ago at this point, and I haven't walked without limping since, and I can't fully work out, and I'm been waiting on that, been really, really frustrated. Yeah. Thanks for being honest. Thanks for sharing that.
Thank you.
I also wrote, I've been, since I was a high schooler, praying for some friends to get saved, and still waiting on that, and still waiting for them to get saved, and sometimes I get frustrated that that's not there yet, but I have to continue to be faithful and be patient with that, which is good. Let's cover verse 12.
Awesome.
Let me read it, and then you can speak a little bit into it quickly. Verse 12 says, "Above all, my brothers and sisters, do not swear, not by heaven, not by earth, or by anything else. All you need to say is simple yes or a simple no. Otherwise, you will be condemned."
Yeah. So when I was little, I would always go up to my mom or something and be like, "Mom, Pinky promised that you'll be home at this time," or just something like that. And that, that's exactly how I talked when I was a kid. Like exactly what, no,
At that time, okay.
not true. But my mom would always tell me, "Brizelle, let your yes be yes and your no's be no's." And so now from then on, I don't make promises because I don't want to break them. And we need to let our yes be yes and our no's be no's. That trust me when I say my yes is going to be my yes. And I just really appreciate James for bringing this up because it is just vital that we honor our commitments because the commitments and the decisions we make, they tell us who we are. And it's not that God is so concerned with our reputation, but at the same time, we're representing him.
Yeah.
So if we decide to just cancel our plans last minute because we decide something seems better to us in the moment, that's communicating to the other person that one, they're not valuable enough, that they're not valuable enough to us. Two, it communicates that we're flaky, unloyal, and we're not reliable. And we want to be that. We want to be that for other people. And by being that, we're representing God, that we're one who makes commitments. And not only that, not only honoring our commitments to our friends, but honoring our commitments to God and our relationship with him. It's just so important.
Yeah. When I was doing this sermon prep this week, I was at a coffee shop, and a guy walks by who works there named Scott, told me he's a Christian, and I was kind of frustrated. He interrupted me. I had my AirPods in. By the way, that's one more thing I'm waiting for coffee shops to open. I'm working outside in the heat. It's crazy town. And I just said, "Hey, Scott, you're a Christian. I'm a Christian. I'm writing this for our students. What do you think something Christians need to hear right now?" And he said, "Christians need to stand up." And I just thought, wow, that's so applicable to what we're talking about because our yes needs to be yes, our no needs to be no, and we need to actually show up and be somewhere when we give someone our yes and our no. So I love that. We need to be men of integrity and women of integrity.
Yeah.
So, could you do me a favor? We're going to keep going on. Could you read verses 13 through 16, please?
You got it. Is anyone among you suffering? Let him pray. Is anyone cheerful? Let him sing praise. Is anyone among you sick? Let him call for the elders of the church and let them pray over him, anointing him with oil in the name of the Lord. And the prayer of faith will save the one who is sick, and the Lord will raise him up. And if he has committed sins, he will be forgiven. Therefore, confess your sins to one another and pray for one another, that you may be healed. The prayer of a righteous person has great power as it is working.
Now, there are many things in life. When you're looking at an object, if you don't know its purpose or if you don't know what it is, it can be really confusing to you. If you're looking at an invention and you don't know what it was designed for, it can be confusing. And I want to share one example that really highlights one of my friends looking dumb. And of course.
The best kind of example.
So we were actually
100%.
around your age in college, and I had one of my friends who was born and raised in Kansas, and he came out to California. And what you have to recognize is that he didn't grow up going to the beach or anything like that, so keep that in mind. And he's at my house, he's staying with me for a couple of days, and he's in my garage, and he's looking at something with a confused kind of sideways glance, and he's staring, and he's staring, and he's staring, and he goes, "Jono, what's that?" And what he was looking at, he was actually staring at one of these in my garage. That's right. So being from Orange County, you guys should all be well aware what this is. It's clearly a boogie board. I don't have a boogie board anymore.
You're telling me he literally didn't know what a boogie board is.
I even said boogie board. He's like, what is that? What? And he was just like so confused and so caught off guard.
I'm just so rattled.
So we just made fun of him. And we're like, dude, how do you not know what this is? And like, even when we get to the beach, like he took the leash. This one doesn't have a leash, but like he connected it to his ankle because that's what you do with surfboards. It was just like if Stevie was there, I could just hear his voice saying, "What a kook," you know? That's what Stevie said. And like, we just made fun of him, but he had no idea what it was.
Yeah, of course.
Now, if we think about somebody who has no concept of who God is, they are looking at prayer the same way. Verse 13 is, anyone among you in trouble, let them pray. When we're looking at someone who doesn't know Jesus, we have to understand that for them, it could be hard to understand what prayer is. Because if you don't have a relationship with the living God, prayer at its very best looks like a superstition. Like, oh, you're talking to somebody, you're talking to yourself, you think it's going to make a difference? Well, I guess it's like a professional soccer game. If I wear my jersey, it's going to make a difference. But at its very worst, people could think, oh, that's just a crutch for weak people, prayer. Like, that's just a crutch to help you out. And students, we have to recognize that as we reach the one, which is what we talk about a lot, a vital place to start is that we can't expect somebody who's not Christian to act like a Christian. We can't have the mindset that, well, they don't think the way I think about prayer, so let me tell them why they're wrong. I used to always have that mindset, and we can't. Instead, we have to have the mindset of saying, that totally makes sense. Let me explain to them why prayer works in my life, and have a posture of humility and patience. Humility, actually listening to them and hearing them out of what their life experience is like. And patience, not going into it with an agenda. And when we go into those conversations with patience, humility, you know what happens? We see a little bit of heaven on earth. We see bits of heaven on earth when these collide. So now, as we respond, we want to leave you guys with two things to think about. To ask the Holy Spirit of what is your next step out of this message. And there's one of two. One of them might be for you. And the first is a call to prayer. You know, James talks about for 5 chapters about all this. Then he ends the whole enchilada by having a call to prayer that we just called. So what would it look like, students, if our whole ministry devoted 30 minutes a day to prayer? Things would change. Yeah. Praying for ourselves, praying for our friends, praying for the needs of others, praying for healing in people's lives, whether that's an emotional wound or a physical problem or injury. Or maybe you're someone that's wandered from your faith. And that's okay, and we're so glad you are tuning in and you've joined us. Maybe you're someone that has put your faith on the bookshelf because of COVID or because of another life situation, whatever it is. I encourage you, I challenge you to respond in what it says in verse 11, the end of verse 11, saying, the Lord is full of compassion and mercy. Stay near to God. This week and right now, make time to focus on God's compassion, focus on God's mercy. Maybe that's your response, just to focus on who God is and be reminded of his faithfulness. God wants his followers to return home and wants us to be men that go, come back, God, or to be women who are reminded of God's faithfulness. We love you guys, and we're grateful for James. I like how you said earlier, my buddy James. So,
Homie.
So good.
Love it.
We love you guys, and we'll see you next week.
Ooh, baby, I like your way. Should I say anything? Caught up in your presence, I just wanna sit here at your feet. Caught up in this holy moment, I never wanna leave. Oh, I'm not here for blessings. Jesus, you don't owe me anything. I just want you. And I'm sorry when I've just gone through the motions. I'm sorry. And I just sang another song. Take me back to where we started. I open up my heart to you. And I'm sorry when I've come with my agenda. I'm sorry, and I forgot that you're not. Take me back to where we started. I open up my heart to you. I'm caught up in your presence. I just want to sit here at your feet. Caught up in this holy moment. Never want to leave. Oh, I'm not here for blessings. Jesus, you don't owe me anything more than anything that you do. I just want you. I just want you. Nothing else. Nothing else. Nothing else will do. I just want you. Nothing else. Nothing else. Nothing else will do. I just want you. Nothing else. Nothing else. Nothing else will do. I just want you. Nothing else. Nothing else. Nothing else will do. I just want you. Nothing else. Nothing else. Nothing else will do. I just want you. Nothing else. Nothing else. Nothing else will do. I just want you. Nothing else. Nothing else. Nothing else will do. Thousand times I failed, still your mercy remains. Should I stumble again, and I'm caught in your grace, everlasting, your light will shine when all else fades, never ending, your glory goes beyond all things. Yeah. Well, above all else, so my purpose remains the art of losing myself in bringing you praise. Everlasting, your light will shine when all else fades. Never ending, I give you control. Consume me from the inside out, Lord. Let justice and praise become my embrace. To see you from the inside out, everlasting. Your light will shine when all else fades, never ending. Your glory goes beyond all pain, and the cry of my heart is to bring you praise from the inside out. Lord, my soul cries out, everlasting. Your light will shine when all else fades, never ending. Your glory goes beyond all pain, and the cry of my heart is to bring you praise from the inside out. Lord, my soul cries out from the inside out. Lord, my soul cries out. Everlasting, your light will shine when all else fades, never ending. Your glory goes beyond all pain, and the cry of my heart is to bring you praise from the inside out. Lord, my soul cries out from the inside out. Lord, my soul cries out.
Well, that worship was great. I hope you guys were able to make it on Friday to the worship meet. I wasn't able to come because it was my birthday.
No, it's my birthday.
No, my birthday.
No, my birthday.
No, our grandpa's birthday.
No, our grandpa's brother's twin's birthday.
Still my birthday.
Now we're gonna end our service with dropping things from the roof.
Dude, this foam does not hurt.
This week's drop, we're dropping from the roof and we're dropping a light bulb. Dropping.
Ready?
Yeah.
Alright, dude. What?
No way.
Oh, because it's not carbonated. Alright, this one will be cool. Oh.
That was sick.
Dude, that was feeding my soul.
Yeah.